Okay, sounds like we're sounding good. So, to anyone who hasn't noticed the title or my lovely little floating image that I have at the top of the screen here, we are with Drevina, and Drevina has done a crazy, crazy feat of a feat of strength. Um, has reached what is known as the credit cap in game, and this is something that is hard coded into the game. You literally cannot hold more than 4 point something billion credits on one specific character's inventory. You can have more across all your characters, you could have some in Legacy Bank, you could have some in your guild bank, but on a single character, you can only hold about 4 billion credits. So, Drevina, first off, hey, what's up? So this is Drevina's character, just looking really awesome and all. So Drevina, just so everybody knows we're not just making stuff up, do you want to trade me so we can see how much credits you have? And I'm going to press accept,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm going to take all your credits. No, I'm lying. So right now, we've got a bug where your name is false in the trade window. Good job.
Yeah, that's been happening lately. I don't know what the deal is with
So
that.
it probably takes you a long time to actually type it in, sorry.
Interesting.
Is it? Oh, it's not letting you trade, is it?
It's actually capping it.
Wow. Okay, so one
Well,
of the
here,
things
okay.
that
So
oh, there
do
you
this.
go.
Try this.
One credit
Try
short.
this. Well, trade and I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, I can see. Oh, no, I'm not going to trade you.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're not going to give it
I
back.
have 1 billion credits in my inventory. They're just going to get deleted.
Okay.
I don't even know what happens.
But see, when I type up on my end, because I'm also streaming, so if people kind of bounce,
Verify.
they can actually see that, is that I'm holding 4 point. Well, okay, actually, I'll give an actual number. I'm holding 4,294,767,295 credits, which isn't the actual cap. The cap is 4,294,817,295, which is a few thousand short. I don't know, like 30,000 short of what I have on my, or 30,000 more than what I have on my character, which it won't let me actually get.
If I try to give that to you?
Nope.
It just rejected it.
It might have just disappeared into the void.
It's a secure trade completed. You steal my credits. So you've been finding all kinds of interesting things about what you can and can't do. Yeah. So what are some of the things you haven't been able to do now that are at this credit cap?
So I've noticed that the cap that it actually limits you at is about 30,000 credits under the actual cap. It will not let me get any more money than what I'm currently holding. Even though the number that I'm currently holding is slightly under the cap, which is, as I've mentioned previous. Something else I've noticed is that if I sell something, it'll say that it's giving me the credits. It won't actually give me the credits, but it'll still take the item. So you got to be really careful. I mean, obviously not many people are going to be just casually holding this on their character, but there is a few bugs when you have the maximum amount of credits, it seems. So I'm not entirely sure
saying
what
when
that's
we're all
about.
obscenely rich and win the SWTOR lottery, we have to be careful with our money, right?
Yes, because it seems that it is a little bit buggy, but I'm only assuming that it's doing that because of the fact that very few people have actually attained this number. So they probably don't really care too much. And I'm sure that if you sold something for 1,000 credits like I did to test the theory, it's not like it's going to smash you. Plus, you can buy it back anyway. But if you buy the item back, it does take from your normal thing. So actually, I lost 1,000 credits testing the theory. So I was like, well, I mean, obviously, it's not a big deal, but it's just funny that that's how it seems to work, which is quite odd.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think they ever meant anyone to ever hit this number, right?
Yes, it seems like they probably didn't intend for it in the beginning.
Like, do you remember back in the day when 250,000 credits was like an obscene amount? Like, oh my god, you're rich.
I remember when I used to buy hyper crates with my guild for like 30 million was like insane money back then. So we'd get our guild up, we'd do a ton of stuff, and then it'd be like, oh my god, we finally can afford a hyper crate, and we buy one, and it's like this big, huge thing for the month, and now it's like 150 million for a hyper crate, and you're kind of like, oh man, 100 million for one, that's pretty crazy. So
So what is that primarily how you've been? Okay, so let's first off talk a little bit about the deal that you and me had. So I have cartel coins through my referral link, but I don't have time to sell that sheer amount of items. So we did like a trade where I gave you a wholesale discount basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you took the time to actually price them, sell them, and you paid me the credits for them initially. I just gave you a discount so that I didn't have to go through the work of selling them myself. But how I know you had all kinds. So some you're selling on the GTN, right?
Yes.
But a lot of them you also sold just like through general chat, like saying like I'm selling a hypercrates.
Yeah.
Make an offer.
What I tend to do when it comes to a lot of trading and stuff like that, which I mean, people have asked me in the past, so I guess this is my time to kind of say how I do things. Is that I tend to use trade chat the most. I find that it's an easier way of getting around the GTN tax, and obviously you can kind of offer lower prices to people via that.
When you're selling things in the high ends, the GTN tax has got to take huge chunk, huh?
That's kind of the thing, is that I've kind of gotten lazy in the last few days.
You're like, I'm almost there. I don't care about the credits.
Yeah, I've just been tossing stuff up on GTN at discounted prices just because I'm like, whatever, I just want to hit cap. So, I mean, I still have a lot to sell from the stuff that you've given me. So I'm definitely probably going to hit 5 billion before this is all said and done right now. And who knows what the future will bring as well. But I tend to sell things at a discounted price when it comes to actually trading it person to person. Whereas on the GTN, I'll put it up for a little bit of an inflated price, like slightly more than what I would normally sell it for, just so that I can kind of counterbalance that GTN tag. So I usually put up, what is it? Well, actually, I shouldn't say my prices. I shouldn't say my prices just in case.
Yeah, and they're not going to mean anything in like a year from now anyway.
Yeah, but basically I end up putting it up for a few $100,000 more per item on GTN so that I can just counteract that.
That's interesting. It's very interesting. It's like counteracting like a PayPal fee or something like that.
Kind of, sort of.
So when did you start this quest again? I know you've been working on it for a while.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'd say probably maybe about a year ago. For sure, I would say probably around then is when I really kind of said, this is what I want to do. I mean, it's been a while since I've kind of hit the maximum amount percentage-wise in my cartel collection, as you know, because I've been doing that for a long time too. That took me about 4 years to kind of hit up to a point where the items were so obscenely difficult to get that I couldn't really go any farther without help. And then that's kind of when I guess we kind of started helping each other money-wise and stuff. Yeah, kind of came to an agreement.
Works out great for me because now I have the credits to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
So like someone who is doing this without someone like me involved, what you basically you could buy up stock from a returning or leaving player at a discount. You could work with someone else who does referral coin codes. Like I know lots of people posting like, use my referral code in chat. Probably have a ton of referral code coins to work with. You could more commonly, more well known is on the GTN watching for things that are sold for a low price, much lower than they should be, and then reselling it would be, I guess, the most analog one for this case. For example, the other day I was trying to find a set worth about 60 million credits, the Bionic Raider, and I found one listed for 450,000 credits, which is like one.
Yeah, that's
1/20 of the price.
I've actually. It's funny that you say that because I was just going to say that my methodology usually when it comes to how to gain credits fast and efficiently in terms of like GTN and stuff like that is basically do actually exactly kind of as you said is my go-to method. And this is something that anybody can do anyway, so it's not like it's really huge if I say anything about it. But head to the GTN, open it up. Let me just drop my pen. Head to the GTN, open it up, type in set as in the name category.
There you go.
In category, put it under armor so that obviously nothing else kind of gets phased in with it. Put it priced lowest to highest so that you see all the low stuff first.
Yeah, and you have to get a feel for things, right? Like you need to know what's expensive and what's not. Like, because there's lots of sites you can find really cheap, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to sell them for anything.
Well, there's a lot of gold sets that sell for extraordinarily cheap, and there's a lot of.
Where do you have a GTN in here so we can just kind of give an example of this? I'll do it on my screen.
Main room if you come back to where I am.
Stuck. Oh, oops! Not that main room.
But it's funny that you say Bionic Raider because I've gotten a few platinum sets via that. I think
yeah.
one of the Revan Reborn sets, because I finished that set like long time ago, but because I flip a lot of items on the GTN, I was scanning it. This is probably about like 7 or 8 months ago. I was scanning the GTN and found a Revan Reborn set for that. I think it was about 1 million credits for the whole set.
Woohoo, yeah. And
So
then
I
you're
was like,
like, hell
okay,
yeah.
and then I just resold it to somebody for like, whatever. I mean,
Do you ever,
it does sound bad to say,
feel
but
bad about that? I have my theory that if someone puts stuff for that amount, someone's going to buy it. It might as well
Oh,
be
yeah.
me.
Well-
like someone's gonna get that armor set. It's probably gonna be a scalper like you, so I'll just pick it up
Yeah.
myself.
Well, the thing is that when it comes to a lot of GTN stuff, I actually hate scalping. I don't like doing
Oh,
it
you
myself.
don't like reselling?
No,
Yeah, okay.
I heavily dislike reselling. Most of the sets that I actually buy now are either for friends or for guildmates. I very, very, very rarely now, I'd say probably about 4 months ago, stopped really reselling things for high prices. Most of the stuff that I actually put on GTN now is usually for 1 credit.
Just to get
Because
rid of
I'm just trying to give it to somebody who's actually going to use it, and
Yeah.
whether or not they resell it and
You don't
do what
care
they
as
want,
long as they do something.
that's fine
with it,
as long as somebody else has it and it's off my plate. I've resold a lot of stuff in the recent months, actually, especially this month. I cleaned out a bunch of bays on some tunes, and yeah, I probably put close to 300, 400 items up for sale for 1 credit and just gotten rid of them, and that has gone from anywhere between platinum grade to all the way down to bronze. So
Hey,
I'm not really giving it anything, so
Do you
it's
want
just
to
kind
come
of
over
whatever.
to the GTN with me? So I got the GTN open. I've put in
I am here.
set, and I've searched for armor, and I sorted the prices from low to high using the unit price. And there's sets as low as like 20,000. But
Yep.
the first couple of pages, a lot of pages are just going to be bronze armors. Like, for example, do you know of any bronze armors that are like really worth watching out for, or do you not even care about stuff that low at this point?
Typically nowadays, anyway, I guess I should say. Before, I used to know the prices a lot better. I will admit that I've kind of slacked in some regards in terms of my pricing guides. I actually used to write stuff down constantly to make sure that I had something to cross-reference with while I was actually searching the GTN. A prime example, actually, of something that is cheap and has remained cheap for a very long time that people tend to buy up to try to resell is actually the Vintage Republic Soldier's Armor set.
Oh,
which
and
is
nobody wants it.
Yeah, it's a golden
It's
armor
got
set,
a
and
toucan helmet.
frankly,
I know that one.
I don't mind the set for roleplay purposes, right?
And so that's
it's
considered
nice
like a
set.
gold armor. Like you're looking at the icon, it's all sparkly. It's at 2 million credits right now. Oh, are
But,
we talking Vintage Republic or Vintage Brawler?
Vintage Republic
So right now the lowest one is at
is, I think, 220,000.
yeah. So is that something worth buying and reselling? It doesn't look like it because there's lots of other of it for sale.
I'd say that averagely it usually ends up coming out about 500,000 on resale value, depending on how the market's going. So
cool. So if someone kind of sat on it for a bit,
Kind of
watched the
depending-
GTN, they could
yeah.
double their credits basically.
you could double your credits or something like that. I mean, I've kind of also said to a lot of people recently, because I've had a lot of people asking me, well, how do I make credits fast? And my kind of philosophy in that regard is, well, any credits are credits, so don't put off the little things. I mean, even the guild that me and Azalori kind of run together, where we just throw money into it and then just buy whatever we want, whenever we want. The kind of thing with it is that even if you're putting something that's bronze quality up for like 20,000 credits, where it normally sells for 100,000, well, that's still 20,000 credits. I mean, it's going to someone who's going to be using it. It's cheap, it's affordable, and then also we get something out of it. So, that's why I kind of say I don't really like scalping, because I'd rather have people actually using the items.
Going back to selling things through general chat, okay? Remind me again. When did you start doing this?
Oh God. Well, the hitting the credit cap thing has been about a year, roughly.
About a year, yeah. So over the last year, you have been telling me all these weird stories about
my
people.
God.
Do you like do I need to go back and scroll up chat and remind you about any of them?
You might have to do that with some of them.
Okay,
I know that I've had some
Let me pull it
interesting
open
ones.
because every time you would message me, I would type back, "How do
How
you
the hell do I
find
find
these
these
people?" So I'll just search. Yep, here we go. Here's one. So one you sent me earlier in the month said, "Just had the strangest thing ever. Dude asked me how many crates I'm selling. He likes my price. I say I'm selling 570 crates.
Oh, this is
570 crates, that's a lot. And
oh my
he
God,
goes,
yeah.
and this is a direct quote, "Wow, someone's getting laid in college. Do you have anything better to do with your time? Get a fucking knife." So this is this is the guy who contacted you about.
Well, that's the thing I don't even understand, because I turned to my roommate and I was like, well, that was weird, like, you know, and then I showed him the chat logs and he's like, okay, that guy's a little, you know, over the top, but he like, no word of a lie. That's exactly what he said to me. He's like, you must be getting laid in college or whatever, and then is like, you know, do you have a life kind of thing? And I was just like, I actually like didn't even know what to say for like the first 30 seconds, and then when I went to finally go to type back something, which I wasn't even gonna be whatever. I just was like, you contacted me, like what?
Why
and he put me on ignore.
Sounds like he was like jealous or something.
Well, I like, he asked me what I was selling. I told him. He was like, that's a pretty fair price. You know, how many are you selling? And I tell him, and he's like, go fuck yourself. And I was like,
so should you just lie from now on and say you're only selling so many?
I mean, it's funny because I've had a lot of people who, like, clearly there are other billionaires out there on the game, because I've had some people where, like,
how many do people normally buy?
Well, the funny thing is, when we actually first started doing this with the actual hyper crates, like 2 days into it, when everything kind of like I started actually trying to sell them, like the first person that messaged me was like, "How many are you selling?" And I was like, I think at that time it was like 300 or something, and he's like, "I'll take like all of them," or something crazy. Like it was over awesome. 250. I know that. And he bought like, I think like a few billion worth for sure, like, you know, just off of whatever. And I was like, okay, like, sure. And he's like, well, let me know if you have any more. And I haven't seen him on since, but clearly
so he's the kind of
he had the money.
you want.
So, well, yeah, I mean, it's clear that there are people out there who are willing to take the leap of faith, if you want to call it that. You know, like,
so are people okay?
It's crazy.
In general, to chat here, I don't really recommend opening the hyper crates unless you enjoy the actual act of woohoo, surprise, or something in here for me. But because it's a gamble, and like most gambling, the house always wins. It's usually better to buy a hypercrate or a master's datacron or a black die or whatever else, resell it for credits, and then buy your item on the GTN. You can definitely actually get rare items on the GTN. From the crates. It's not like impossible or anything like that, and it's actually, I would say it's fairly common to get really good items, would you say? Like, it's not like, oh my god, I got a rare item that will never happen again in my lifetime, right?
I definitely would say it's you know, it's for sure plausible. I mean, actually, it's funny, this morning my cousin recently just got back into playing this with me. He re-downloaded it and whatever, and I threw 19 packs his way just to kind of see, because he's basically brand new to the game.
Yeah, he's
so
like,
he opened all those. Yeah, he was like, what the hell are these? And I was like, oh, well, they basically give you cosmetic items, and he got a few really good drops. I was actually really shocked with some of the items that he came out with in the end.
Yeah, so just to be clear, there are the potential of getting good stuff in them, but in general, especially if you're looking for a specific item, there is like there's probably like 3,000 different items in there by now, right? I mean, maybe not that many. I don't know, but it's a lot.
If you're counting all the decos,
everything, all the armors, all the individual pieces of armors that don't have a set, all the weapons for all the classes, all the toys, all the emotes, all the flares, all the crystals.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's so many items.
I'd say there's about 2,100 things in the game that are currently available. About 2,100 that are actually available from the Hypercrate itself, the new Ultimate packs. I'd say that's about the rough estimate on what it is, because I have 2,150 items, and some of those are still subscriber rewards. So
your collections, yeah, that's a great way to figure that out from.
Like, there are only 2,212 items in the whole game right now on the cartel market, or cartel collections, and I have 2,150, and I'd say about 2,100 of that's available in the crates.
So yeah, in short, if you're looking for a specific item, the chances of getting it in that 1 in 2,100 is
fairly
low.
low.
So do you think that that person was opening it to try and get specific items, or do you think they just liked the act of opening them, or do you think they're just hoping for any rare items and make a profit?
Well, that's kind of the thing that it's usually difficult to tell, because most people don't actually tell you when they purchase from you. I've had a few people who actually, the last guy that bought up a bunch of my crates, he actually said to me directly, he said, I have a very unhealthy obsession with gambling with these crates
Aw.
kind of thing.
But
But he said
he was
at
able to
least I
buy
don't.
them with
Well, that's the
credits.
thing. He was like, at least I can buy them with in-game currency, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
And I said,
that's
well,
good.
cheers, good luck to you, but I myself, I don't open the Ultimate Cartel packs anymore. I've had extraordinarily bad luck with my running of the crates in terms of actually opening them in the recent months. I definitely wouldn't say that it's impossible to get really good stuff, because I've done it, I've seen it, it happens frequently. I just don't do it myself because I know that I usually end up getting kind of the shitty end of the stick, if that makes sense. But for sure, a lot of people that I've noticed lately, back to your original question, tend to, from what I've seen, resell the crates or open them. Those are the primary two things. I've seen a few people buying stuff like as soon as they got it out of the crate right in front of me, kind of thing. Like they're clearly either collecting or something along the lines, trying to get whatever. But I've had a few people who they basically tell me right off the bat, aside from the people who are like, oh yeah, I'm opening these because I have an unhealthy obsession, there's other people too who are like, well, I hope I get a bunch of platinum so I can resell them and make
And you're
like
like,
triple
oh,
pay.
you had a guy open a crate in front of you and call like a
Yeah,
bad result, right?
that was super awkward. I've had a few people. Luckily, he only bought like two, or I think it was either one or two, and he like bought one or two of just the normal packs. So it's only about 8 million credits in terms of like the total amount that he spent. But
Is that the
he's
guy who
he
said, if you give me a hyper crate free and I get good shit, I'll buy the rest? Or is that a
no,
different guy?
that was a different guy. But
that's the guy that
he like.
That's the guy that offered you nudes. No, his girlfriend's nudes.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, that's a story for after. But this guy, like, he bought two of the packs. He opened them, and then he's like, "Rest in peace. I got shit." But he's like, "Good luck, man. Thanks for at least the attempt." And I was like he wasn't pissed off about it, so I was happy about that. But I have had people in the past where they open it, they get really bad results, and then they start getting mad at me, and I'm like, I don't have any say in what drops. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
Why are you
But,
buying random crates?
it's like, yeah, I'm like, why are you getting mad at me? It doesn't. I'm like, understand that it's a kind of a pain in the ass and it sucks, but
I would think anyone
I don't know
who's
what else
buying
to
them
say.
in mass to try
Well,
and turn
would
a
kinda-
profit probably
would kinda
knows
understand the
chances.
risk, yeah.
So yeah, do you want to tell us about the guy who offered his girlfriend snoots and what you
Sure,
did?
yeah.
Did you accept that offer?
God, no, of course not. But he, I honestly don't even remember all the logistics of what exactly happened. Is that even the right word to use? I don't know. But I don't remember the exact whatever situation. I know that he was basically begging for me to give him a really, 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 really lenient discount. And I kind of was like, sorry, man, like I need like at least this amount. Like I need a limit, because otherwise I'm kind of turning negative in terms of what I'm like trying to get to and all this stuff. And he is basically asking and asking and asking. And he's like, well, if you give me a bunch of packs to open and I get good stuff out of them, then I'll buy a hyper crate. And I was like, sorry, no freebies kind of thing. And he's like, well, I'll give you I'll trade you my girlfriend's nudes for a bunch of crates. And I was like, no, like I just said no, and then I ignored him. I was like, no, I'm not, like, I've never had that before. That's the absolute first time I've ever had anyone offer something that ridiculous to me over a trade. And I've seen some interesting things over the years. So like that's a whole new level of like, whoa, I have never even heard of that before. So that actually genuinely caught me off guard. I didn't even know what to say at the time.
Especially because like he could just even if that was a currency you were interested in, he could just like Google like naked lady.
I mean, it's
right?
It's just a mind-boggling thing for me to even think that someone could do that, but I don't know. Like, yeah, like. I don't want to whatever and say that that you could easily just, as you said, like you just easily Google it, so it's not like it's whatever. But like I don't even know what to say to that response. Like,
so have you? Okay, so apart from the weird stories, have you ever had any other types of offers apart from just playing credits? Like, have you made any interesting trades, either for help or for items or time or anything like that?
Well, I guess in terms of the actual hypercrate sales that I've been doing recently, I have said very blatantly, I'm sorry, I'm not accepting trades. It's just for the sole purpose of things are very difficult to sell in the GTN nowadays. And
why do you think
I'd rather just there's a very large influx of a lot of the higher quality items before a lot of the stuff kind of was more I don't even know, like spread out, I guess, if that's the
Was
right term
this
to use.
did that switch flip when the new Ultimate Packs came out?
Yes,
So for
for
anyone
sure.
who doesn't know, so first off, just to make sure everyone's aware, these crates that we're talking about are crates that you buy with cartel coins. Cartel coins, for the most part, come either from subscribing or you buy them with real world money. And then the crates have cosmetic items in them. They're a way for the game to fund itself through cosmetic items. Literally, like what Drevina is wearing right now is a cosmetic item. Um, let's see, I'll pop one on too. I've got a cosmetic item on right here. They don't have any effect on the game except they make our space Barbies look good. And these crates have tons of different randomized items in them, from the super rare and expensive to the less expensive ones. So in the past, like when did the Ultimate crates come out? More than a year ago at least, right?
I'd say sometime around then, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
the biggest problem with them is that because there's a higher chance to get a rarer item, there's a lot more people with the rare items. So
Gotcha.
it
So
kind of
these
crashed the GTN in a sense.
Let me explain the way it changed though first.
Yep.
So these in the past, these crates had a limited number of types of items in them. They had like a series, like a collection, and you could only get the items from there. Then these crates often disappeared from the market altogether. And when that happened, the items that were in them pretty much went away. Like they were very rare, hard to find, really great items to sell. You didn't have to worry too much about them coming back in stock and like plummeting your rarity price. Like they'd come back at some point, but then they'd go away again, no problem. These days, the newer type of crates, I believe they changed them mainly for maintenance reasons, I guess, to make it easier for the team to not have to do different collections all the time. So they made these crates that have a potential to have any of the items from any of the different collections. People also often would complain, say, oh, I don't feel like I'm getting my money's worth by buying these. I don't feel I'm getting enough rare items in the packs. So they did up the rates, and I believe they also made it so if you open more, you would eventually get more rare items, right?
Yeah, the way it seems to work, and I haven't ever found an actual like consistent kind of like guide and of people who have like kind of tried this. I mean, me and a few other people tried this way back just to see what the consistency rate was, and we couldn't find a pattern in it. But the more packs you open, the higher your chance of getting gold, platinum, etc. Like, it basically raises how good the items are supposed to be. Are supposed to be kind of. So, the more you open, yeah, the better stuff you get. But I've kind of noticed that it definitely peaks at a point. Like, you open a bunch, I'd say, like, you open 30, you kind of get mediocre stuff. You open 60, it's starting to get a little better. You open 90, it's kind of starting to teeter off. You open 120, you're not really seeing much of a return in terms of the same with 90. 150, it's still about the same return. So that's what I've noticed.
And nobody has any hard numbers.
We don't not that I've actually seen. I haven't seen anyone who's actually been able to kind of prove what the rates are. For all I know, it could just be a case of us just getting luckier as things go on, and there might not even be a chance of it being bumped higher at all. Maybe they're just saying that. I don't know.
That was written down in a patch note somewhere, so I'm pretty sure that's actually true. We just
like
don't know the rates
I do believe
working.
it. Yeah, I do believe it. I just, as I said, most of the research that we've kind of done, quote unquote, we haven't really came up with anything conclusive. So.
Forrester says fake news.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna pretend like I know the exact drop rates.
So another thing that happened that changed the market is that most things, especially all new things, pretty much will always show for direct sale now, which is a change that they started making so that you could buy items without having to go through the random crates. This is, I would say, a good change for everyone because it makes things more available when you need them, and two, it actually actively discourages opening the crates because you, for a lot of items, no longer need the random aspect. So a player who just wants the item can just buy it, maybe for a more expensive amount, but they don't have to go through the gambling process to get it. So that's good, but it does mean that the need for the crates has gone down. Especially if those are items that are very wanted. For example, let's say there was a Revan's armor that everyone wanted in the past. The only way was to get it from those crates. Like, someone had to open the crate and either use the item or put it on the GTN for someone else to sell. Now, these days, most of the items you can just buy. Or the stock has gone up from the ultimate packs, and it's usually available on the GTN.
it's kind of one of those things nowadays where it is a little bit harder, I guess, for us like traders
Yeah,
and
so all of
resellers to
these
really
things
get
have
anything
made it
major.
harder for anyone looking to turn a profit from them,
Mhm.
though. So that has made your task a lot harder.
I will admit that it's I at least see it from a point of, because of a lot of the things being lowered, it actually makes it easier for a lot of people to be like, you know what, I will buy this item for somebody, or you know, I will
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
So it's kind of I like it because if someone asks for something,
You can get
or
it for them.
you know,
Especially now you
they
have
want
4
something,
billion
yeah,
credits.
I can just give it to them and be like, you know, no harm done, whatever. There are
So
obviously certain things that I won't be buying for people,
you're not
but
going to buy the
that's
60
those
billion
reasons. Yeah,
bionic raiders
I'm
set?
not gonna go crazy and be like, here's the
Okay.
$60 million
Okay.
or 60 million credits.
Lame. I
But
thought we were friends, Drevina. So, now that what was your original reason that you wanted to hit this credit cap? Like, what was like, were you just like, that's a lot of credits, I want to try and do that?
well, funny enough, my main reason for doing it was I was kind of getting out of SWTOR at the time.
You were,
I had
right. I
basically,
thought it was funny that you were saying that you
yeah,
wanted to do this, and I was like, okay.
I basically, what happened is, like, it was kind of getting out of SWTOR. I had just recently hit 100% on all the collection stuff before new stuff came out, obviously. And I kind of, I mean, yeah, as I said to you, I said like, well, I want to hit credit cap because I kind of want to leave the game kind of on a note where I've, you know, gotten all the goals that I want to get,
So
kind
are
of
you
thing.
quitting right now?
No,
Okay.
in the last while I've gotten very into the game. I've kind of, it's almost like a renewed passion, if that makes sense, where I feel like I'm kind of joining the community again. I'm doing a lot of stuff, a lot of content with people. I'm having a lot of fun. A lot of friends are coming back to the game. I'm doing content with you, in
Yay.
terms of just
I
helping
don't
out
know
with
if that's
stuff.
fun, but I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I definitely am enjoying it. So, and it's not just because you're paying me, as I said before. I'm more than willing to do some
I'm
things for
not
free.
paying you.
So
I wish I made enough money to pay people, like have a SWTOR team. That would be awesome.
that would be pretty wicked. But but either way, yeah, I kind of initially was, the reason was just because I was getting out of the game. But now that I've done it, I mean, I've even talked to Azalori about the Remnants of Hope guild, like the guild that we're in. And my goal after hitting whatever amount that I hit after I'm done finishing all these packs is I'm going to be donating at least 500 million to
So
our
just
guild.
to make sure, you're gonna put some of these credits like in your legacy bay or something, right? So that
Yes.
you can accept more.
I'm kind of the thing that I'm going to be doing nowadays basically is I'm going to just be continuously stacking credits and helping people out when they need it, um, buying things kind of for other people, helping the guild out as much as I can, kind of just, you know, little things here and there where, you know, because I basically have everything, and
And there's
I
not
sort of kind of quote
once
unquote an
you
unlimited source of money.
yeah,
So
you can't. There's nothing else in the actual game itself that you can buy. If I remember right, your collections, a lot of it's already filled. It's not like you need items
I
from the GTN.
I have every single item that I can possibly obtain from the GTN right now. Like
So you don't.
every
There's
cartel item I have
even
that I
when
can.
like another stronghold comes out, you'll spend like what
Oh
100
yeah,
million
I'll
credits and
just
then be
pop
done
all of it
again.
on.
Like,
Yeah,
what do
it's
you
kind of one of those
do?
things. That's kind of the thing is as I said, it's more of me just ending up at the end of the day a lot of the time, especially recently, just giving stuff away because I just don't have any use for things. So yeah, the more that I gain, the more that I'll be giving away. But I guess, yeah, until they release new content, I basically am just going to be hoarding and giving away as much as I see fit. So
So I've got
yeah,
about 5 minutes before I'm going to pass everyone on to you to continue the stream. Is there
sure.
anything else you wanted to share about what you're working on for this?
Um, not particularly about it, I guess. I mean, I'm obviously very glad. Um, oh, sorry, someone just messaged me in the chat. Sorry, I
Are
just
they
totally zoned
asking
out.
for credits? Tell
But
them to fuck off.
no,
Oh,
they're
sorry. Sorry, I'm swearing. This is a
bad,
this is a
bad.
good Jedi server.
But I guess I'm just happy that I got to this point. I couldn't have done it without you, without Azalori, without a lot of people in our guild, without a lot of the friends that I've made along the way, and it's been fantastic.
Do you have a new goal? Like, I know you still have to sell off all these packs, obviously.
Yeah, well, actually, my goal right now is to try to buy some stuff from Master Mode or Master.
Oh, right.
Mode,
You were trying
Nightmare
to get wings. You were
operations.
on my stream the other day, and we were talking about wings buying, and
Unfortunately,
it
and
fell
I'm
through.
sure if people,
Oh.
yeah, I'm sure if people actually. Oh, hold on. I'm sure if people that are around that have kind of been in the op group that I was kind of following, they unfortunately fell through. So I'll have to be moving to
money
Dark
is
Valve.
not an object. It's literally the
No,
difficulty is
it's
finding those
literally
7 people who will carry you.
the issue is that I unfortunately am not skilled enough and don't know people who are willing to kind of
Teach the
like
ropes,
work with me to get to that point, and I'm okay with that. That's not the problem. The problem is finding nim raiders who are willing to carry me to that point, and I'm more than willing to pay. Obviously, it's not
You've
an
been
issue of
trying
payment.
so long, too.
I have been trying very hard,
If
but
someone
also
offered you a run for 4 billion credits, would you take it?
I'd say no to that, but that's
Oh.
because I have a lot of stuff that I have to buy still. So in terms of nightmare stuff.
Oh, I see.
But,
Other runs. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, there's other runs. But the other big problem is that because I'm a Republic specific player, and that Drevina is the character that I focus on in terms of mounts and stuff like that. Like I have over 350 mounts on her right now.
Everybody's on the best fashion side.
Everybody is focused on imp side, and every single time. Every single time that it's fallen through, it's been because they read my thing wrong and they think that I'm Imperial.
Oh,
so they go, "Oh shit, we don't have a lockout for you. Sorry, man." And I go, "Oh, that's fine." You know, I don't really care about the waiting. The waiting's not the problem. Whatever, it'll come through eventually. I'm sure it's not a huge deal for me. Whatever, but hopefully soon.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for sharing your very unique achievement, Trev.
Yes, I definitely am proud.
Everyone here, I'm going to get off. My lovely family is getting home tonight, so I'm glad I was able to catch Drev for at least half an hour. And we're going to pass you guys over to Drev, and Drev's going to stream some SWTOR. Drev, are you going to be doing anything specific?
Honestly, I'm not totally sure right now. I might be getting into a master mode flashpoint, but I think that our guildmates are confused at who's what spec, so I'm not entirely sure.
All right, let's see. I did it. Okay. And if you guys want to continue watching some SWTOR and see what Drev gets up to, click the button that says "Ready to Raid."
I can't promise that I'm very entertaining, but I will try.